Hey guys, this is DOD, aka Dark Pros in Depths, and this is something on ReBless in order to try and get people who can't really understand the Japanese version of this. Now, first and foremost, there's going to be some links in the description, which lead to two different wikis on this. Use Google Translate to help you out, but they'll really get you going on this, where they'll tell you about the characters, what they can do, even give you a little guide on how to do these special one-time missions that can get you a lot of stuff. There's like 50 of them or so, and it'll lead you through quite a bit of storyline and whatnot too. But anyways, here's your little main menu screen, and there's a few things you need to know right off the gate. There's this little setup of 7 different buttons right here. Now, quite a few of them's going to be locked off at the start because your little rank up here, which you can also see the experience too before you rank up again. But that little rank right there will tell you, like, it will have a number, and unless you're rank 71, I do believe, you're going to have limited access to pretty much quite a few things in the game. When you hit rank 71, I do believe you have full access to everything and at their highest levels. But anyways, as you go along, there's going to be different stuff. Now, first and foremost, there's important things you really need to know about right off the bat, which happen to be this, which is a storyline button, this, which happens to be the tower button, and this, which happens to be the gacha button. The rest of the stuff more or less depends on when you need it. Like, this is a little sad thing where you have to use level 30 characters or higher in order to try and advance as far as you can through some very hard content, but it can get you some very good stuff, including these little elemental socket things, which honestly you don't really need to rely on, but they can help. This is a little player versus player thing right here in this yellow button. You can get some good prizes from there. And this, along with the one that says closed, they'll alternate between the two. Happen to be event buttons where they have different types of events. Now, there's a raid event that does happen, and if you end up going against the raid bosses or whatnot, because you gotta farm items in order to trigger the raid boss, and then you can fight the raid boss to get these orbs in order to, and they act like gacha stuff as well. If there's a raid event, I suggest putting all your focus on that because you can get a lot of good stuff here. It helps you rank up a lot. It helps you get a lot of gold, which is these little coins up here. It helps you get mana, which is this thing right here. It helps you get diamonds as well, which you're going to need later on, I'll explain. And it just helps you out a lot. You can even get access to a lot of SSR characters. Speaking of which, the character I have on the screen right now is one of the best physical attack SSR characters in the game, and it's obvious who it is. It's Alice. Because anybody that knows me enough on my channel, I have a major thing for Alice in Wonderland. And this really definitely hit the mark because she looks entirely hot. And then on top of that, the Cheshire Cat looks kind of badass too. So I actually like how they designed her in this one. But she happens to be one of the strongest physical attackers in the game. Go figure. And she's been in there since the game started. I didn't play this since the game started, but I did play quite a bit of it so far. But speaking of which, let's get into one of the biggest things you'll be wanting to pay attention to, which is the storyline stuff. Because out the gate, they give you an SR character who's a decent magical character and heals characters as well. But when you advance through the storyline, you'll get the other parts of different chapters. Like, I forgot which chapter this is. But you also get different difficulties. Like, I'm on medium difficulty right now. You can get through a whole bunch of different stuff. And it really helps you out because they give you a lot of good items. They give you a few decent grind spots, especially on the hardest difficulty. They mainly give you diamonds, too, each time you clear something. Because far as I know right now, each chapter has 10 areas in one section, and they all have 5 sections. The third chapter is the only exception to the rule because it has 4 sections instead of 5. So, just by running through the entire easy difficulty for all 3 chapters, you can get 140 diamonds right there. But there's 3 chapters remind you of that, so you can get over 400 diamonds just by clearing the storyline. But also, every 10th little stage gives you some very good stuff there too. Like, I don't know if I can select this one. Yeah, I can't select it, but you see the prizes it gives. It gives a diamond, of course, but it also gives an SR gotcha ticket, which means I can get an SR character from it. Hard difficulty gives you SSR, so you want some SSR, there's a very good chance of doing that right there out of the gate if you can make your way to the hard storyline and start clearing them. But that's the whole thing. They also give you some characters. You want to clear the first chapter, because the first chapter gives you a very, very powerful defensive character, and she's SR. But you can also get more characters too. There's another physical attacker one that's at SR, and then there's a hybrid one that's at that SR too. You're going to want them too. Like, you're going to want as many as you can get just out the gate. Especially considering the fact that they also, if you're playing, I don't know if it's in the original one, but I'm playing ReBless X, which has the hentai scenes. But all the free characters that they give you right out the gate, like the job characters, like every single character has a scene, at least one. But I know for a fact that the SSR job characters, along with the 4 SR characters they give you out the gate, or eventually when you sip and go through storyline, they all have 2 scenes. That means 2 diamonds from each of them. SSR characters, period, point blank, have 2 scenes, so. And you get everybody's first scene by leveling them up to level 30, which is the original base limit. Depending on their rarity, they can go even further. Like, normal can only go up to level 35. I do believe rare can go up to 40. SR goes up to 45, and SSR goes up to 50. So, of course, you're naturally going to want to make your way to the SSR stuff. But to even upgrade any of the normal girls, as long as you don't get them from storyline, and they're not a job character, you're going to need to be here. I clicked on the little blimp icon. It gives you these little scrolls from these different things for the different types of characters. You're going to need them, because they give you stars in order to not only allow you to max level break them, but it also sets you up so you can get more stats. Not just to get increasing their max level when you eventually get multiple copies, but it gives them more stats right out the gate. You're going to want to 4-star everybody regardless of who you're using. So this is where you get that stuff. You can farm it for there. Now the different icons, this is your physical attacker, which is a sword thing. This is your magical attacker, which is a staff icon. This plus is obvious, it's a healer. This shield's obvious, it's a defensive character. And then this is a hybrid one, where some enemies in the game, they're completely resistant to physical attacks, and others are completely resistant to magical. These guys tend to ignore that. However, their stats are lower in the disciplines. It's like, you might have a physical or magical attacker with 1,000 attack in one stat, but these guys might have 500 to both. And then they tend to have less HP. But these guys really are the most reliable when it comes to attacking. Now, when it comes to your defensive characters, it doesn't mention if they're physical or magical defense. You got to try and dig that up on a wiki, because if you can't read Japanese, you're not going to know out the gate. But the one that comes from the storyline is a very strong physical one, and I haven't really found much of a reason to get a magical defender, but you can get a few of them. I know there's one from the SSR rarities that you can get. And then this is your healer type. You're eventually going to want one healer. When you start trying to take on the hard content, you're going to want at least one healer. There's a SR girl that is very, very good at healing, but she's from Gacha. And then on top of that, there's a job character that's very good at healing as well. Extremely good at healing, in fact. She can even revive dead characters. But, yeah, you're eventually going to want one of each of these. So, yeah. Your typical party is going to have one of each of these anyways, unless you just don't need the defender or don't need the healer. But that's the whole thing with this. You get the scrolls from here, and they also give you diamonds when the first time you clear them. Now, naturally, the hard one's going to take more energy, but that's where you tend to get the better scrolls. Each one's level 1 through 5, and then there's a 6th scroll that doesn't have any labels. You're going to want to get all of them eventually. So that's one thing. Now, here's another thing you're going to probably want to go into at one point. And this is some harder content, so you're going to want to build up your girls before you go in here. But I'm just mentioning this. This tower can give you a lot of good stuff to also give you a head start. It gives you diamonds, it gives you gold, it gives you some of the better scrolls, it gives you some gacha tickets, it gives you some enhancement materials. But the main thing it gives is these three things that I will show. It can give this SSR weapon, which is a magical orb based weapon. It can give this SSR armor. I forgot what type it really is called. And more importantly, it can give you this SSR magic based girl. She's a very strong magic user. In fact, this thing with this tower, you get enough copies of her to get her to level 50. Along with that weapon, along with that armor. Each character has a weapon and an armor they specifically like, which gives them different type of ranks when you try to equip them. That's her S rank items, and when you actually get her strong enough, they'll turn to double S, giving her an even bigger boost. The better the rank, the better boost you get. It goes from D to A, then there's S, then there's double S. So, if you can manage to clear all 100 floors like I did, you should be able to get her to level 50 along with the other stuff. And like I said, it gives you a lot of good stuff, like just floor 98. That gave me 30 diamonds, so... And then I've been talking about diamonds so much. Here's what they do. They can give you refills on either this little energy bar right here in order to try and rank up, or refills on arena participation points, which you're going to need for this if you do it. But most importantly, you're going to need those diamonds for here. Because here's the thing. This is your little gacha section. This little blue button that I just hit. If you do your cards right, you can get a lot of good stuff. Right here, they give you an SSR guarantee for this little event gacha right here. And you can do it for 30 diamonds. The other stuff is ReBless coins, which you guys spend money for, and I'll suggest something for that later on. But the only other way to get diamonds is aside from events, which can hand them out, the tower, or pretty much logins and doing some missions the first time. You can buy diamonds, but it also requires buying a lot of ReBless coins, and a lot of people may or may not have that money. You might not even be able to add one to this game. Who knows? All I know is this. 30 diamonds can get you an SSR guaranteed, and it's an 11 draw as well. And then, these are SSR guaranteed stuff too, but only if you can spend the ReBless coins. I spent 2,500 for the character one, but there's one for weapons and one for armor. They tend to split gacha between weapons and armor, and then one for characters, but this one had all three split. But when you start racking up diamonds, this is the one you're probably going to hit if you can't do the event ones. I suggest just burning it for this, because the equipment can come from other stuff. So, you really don't need to go too hard on equipment, because you can get them from tickets and whatnot. And if you're doing the raid events, you can get a lot of equipment, trust me. You can even get a lot of SSR tickets and all that. I will go to that section in a second, but definitely use the diamonds for the 11 draws. Do not use them for single, because it's a waste. For the same price of 10 of these is this. It gives me an extra draw. So never ever do the singles. But another gacha you might want to worry about too, if you want to burn through coins and try and get some stuff, you can get anything up to SR here. And this takes gold. So you see I have like 7.6 million gold. Here you go right here. It takes 50,000 for it, so when you're starting off it might be a little bit tricky, but it can get you some stuff. This is the girl I mentioned, who happens to be one of the strongest healers in the game right now, and she's SR. So yeah. She's worth going after. I have her. But also, this is where you can go to spend your tickets, and I've racked up quite a bit of them. I have an SSR guaranteed character ticket right here. But I also have a lot of SR ones that I'm not even using because I've gotten a lot of stuff from a previous raid event. Again, them raid events are freaking stupid because you see how many of these SR tickets I got. And then I pulled quite a bit of these SSR ones as well. Now, this one right here, I've never used it. But this gacha happens to be specific SSR, I think from previous events. So this is how you set up and pull those ones if you miss an event. But I've never really gotten these tickets, so I don't know how to do it. But you definitely want to pay attention to this one because these event ones tend to give you SSR guaranteed. You're going to want to go here because that's for when you got diamonds to use on other stuff. You're definitely going to want to go here when you start getting tickets. Maybe the gold one. Maybe this one right here if you can get some ReBless coins. Now, I've been talking about how to actually get a lot of this stuff, but here's how you actually strengthen them. This little character icon right here gives you a lot of different stuff. This one can change your formations. It's also how you manage to get your jobs. When you start leveling up, you get more job points and whatnot too. Events can hand them out as well. This is how you level up all your girls and your equipment. This is how you actually get more level break on them as well. Because you're going to want to go here. They all have different requirements for the scrolls, as you can see. And this is how you add more stars to them. You're going to want to do this before you even try to advance their max levels. Now, when it comes to rarity, it's different. R can only go up to level 35. R can only go up to level 40. Don't even worry about end girls. Just get them to 30 for the free scene and call it a day. But N can go up to 35, R can go up to 40, SR can go up to 45, and SSR can go up to 50. That's regardless of girls or equipment. Girls have to sit up and get these scrolls in order to get higher max level. So you're going to be there for a minute. But that said, once you get those scrolls, then you can go here. This little blue one right here, which you'll get eventually. Now, this one, when you start getting duplicates, guess what? You can start max breaking them. I have a lot of different girls and whatnot, but you have to get them to their highest current level. So, say you've broken them once, you got to get them to level 35 in order to get the next step. Same case for weapons and armor. So, I have a copy of this too that I can break limit, but I got to get this to level 40 before I can use that to do that. So, that's the whole thing with this. Like, see, these are max level, so I can attempt to do it, but I don't have a copy. So, say you don't have a copy but still want to do it. There's specific items that you can get. Like, you see these little 3 things right here? I can do this to show it, but I'd rather do it on a different piece of equipment. Yeah, let's go back and select a different one. Because this one I know I'm going to push forward. You can get these from events and stuff too. You can also trade them for gold coins. I'll get to that later. But these can help you bypass it if you don't have a copy of it. Because you need a copy of the same thing in order to actually do it normally. You can hit the accept thing. There you go. Your max level is increased. There's specific ones for armor, which happen to be the shield looking ones. Specific ones for weapons, which happen to be the sword ones. And then there's one that look like a little angel stone or something, and that's the characters. But see, now it's max level up and everything. And I can increase it further. But there's more to it than just that. You can see this little thing to have you check your inventory. But these are 2 things that you're going to really need to pay attention to. I don't fully know what the book is. It's probably cataloging all of the items. But this sells them for gold up here. And this, if they're SR or SSR, can exchange them for gold or silver coins. Now, here's the thing. You have to get them from the gacha, and they have to be SSR if you want gold coins. Otherwise, you're getting silver coins. That said, I do have some sacrificial girls I can throw to this. I don't want to throw those SSR things. But I can sacrifice these things. Since this is an event item, it gives me silver coins. So, there you go. But say I did want to sacrifice her. I get gold coins. So, that's because she came from gacha. Same case with this, silver coins, because I didn't get it from a gacha, I got it from an event. Now, what those coins are for is in a little exchange. There's 2 ways to get to it, but I usually do it from this screen. Now, sometimes the gachas give you special events things where you can set up and trade for points. Sometimes there's an actual event going on where you gotta farm for that crap. You can get points for all that. However, those gold and silver coins are in one of these tabs. And as you can see, I can get some very specific stuff for it. and some very good stuff at that. Now, the silver version of these is for max breaking SR. You might need some of them, but you might not. These gold ones are the hard ones to come across. This one's for characters, this one's for armor, this is for weapons. This is an easy way to max break them if you can't pull them again. But you also can get tickets to try and attempt that as well. Takes a lot of gold coins for this stuff. So, if you want specific girls, then sell off the ones you don't need and try to get the gold coins for this. If you want specific armor and weapons, do the same case. You can also trade the gold coins into silver coins here. But I suggest you do not do that. Now, in case you're wondering, the other way to get to that tab from the main menu is here. And there's this little thing right here where you can simply exchange it as well. I don't know what the MP thing is. I don't know what these other things are. I guess these are slot extensions, but I never needed it. This is the one you might need to hit. This little RB thing. For anybody that's wanting to add money to the game, this is how you do it. You step and buy DMM points and then trade it here. However, this is the one you want to go for. Now, I didn't do my logins because I've been playing Insane a lot, so I didn't get as much as I could out of here. But what you do, you drop ReBless coins for this. So, I think it's like 1,000 ReBless coins. You'll simply get this immediate 1,000 right here. It's either 1,000 or 1,500. I think I gotta hit this button to reset it and it'll tell me. Yeah, it's 1,000 DMM points, so it's like $10 worth. You get 1,000 coins right off the bat, so you automatically get your money. If you manage to log in every single day, you can get up to another 2,000. So you can get 3 times the money it's worth. This is the one you probably should try to do the most. It takes a little bit over time and it's not immediate. However, when you go to here, when you start adding like $50 worth or more, that's when you start getting extra diamonds in order to sip and spend as well. You get 10 diamonds from this, 16 from this, and 33 from that. But that's only if you want to be a paying player, and really you don't have to be. Now, there's other stuff you can do too to strengthen your everything. And this is where these come in. When you start going a little bit further, you can get formations. That's where this comes in. Now, as I've mentioned before, you can get mana. And you can use this to level up your different formations and try to get them higher and whatnot. And it will give you a lot of good stuff. Now, I've noticed they added 2 more formations on here. I haven't gotten them, so I'm about to try and increase them. Just so I can use it. So now I literally do have every single formation. Now, here's the thing. When it's in the back line, you get HP increases. I mean, when it's in the back line, you get attack power increases. When it's in the front line, you get HP. So, this formation pretty much increases everybody's HP. This formation right way down here increases everybody's attack power. It's recommended that this formation right here is the very best. And honestly, that's probably why I got refunded so much. That's probably why I'm sitting so much mana right now, because I noticed this is all at level 1. But this one is hands down the best one to get. So, you get one person in front that can get a massive spike in their HP. And then, you get the other 4 in the back line for, like, pretty much attack power increases. This is extremely good for tanks. I mentioned in the storyline there's a character you can get that's a very strong tank. Put her in the front, because she can focus attacks to her and increase the defense of everybody else. This formation will do wonders. Otherwise, you might want one of the other ones in order to try and get more people to attack or whatnot. So, I will eventually level this up and get all the stuff for that one. But that's the whole thing with this. It's like, I can't read Japanese, so I don't know full specific details on that. I guess these are up your defensive stats or whatnot. I don't know. But all I know is this. This was definitely one of the best formations to get, and it's probably the only one you'll need. But you got to rank up pretty far in the game in order to get that. This is the one I do believe they start you off with right here. The one where it's 2 in the front and 3 in the back. You're going to want to level up your formations, and it takes mana for that. But it's not the only thing it takes mana for. There's a little formation thing screen, too. And I'm going to go from the main menu in order to try and break you off into there. But this little first button takes you to this main screen. When you start ranking up, your formations start going up higher levels after you start unlocking them. So you get formations here. I do believe this is the strengthen your equipment. And I forget what these other ones are for, but they can help you out for getting elemental stuff and whatnot and getting materials in order to make them. But the ones you really need to worry about is these two right here, which is formation, and this one, which strengthens your equipment. And that's going to take mana as well. I don't know if they refunded those. No, they didn't refund them, so they didn't change anything. These first two are attack power. This one's burst damage, but I don't think you specifically need it. And this is a weapon side, too. I do believe this one's critical hit rate. That one's speed, and I forgot what this one is. You're particularly going to need the first two, which is the two different attack powers. One's physical, one's magical. You'll see which one is the lead for that one. Like, these hybrid weapons happen to have both physical and magical. These strong physical weapons happen to have just physical, no magical. If you see a 0 there, don't worry about it. That's the easiest hint. But you definitely want to go to critical rate down bottom. You definitely want to go to attack power, and you definitely want to try to get speed so your attacks you can get more actions when you equip that. Now, in the case of armor, it's a different story. Also, you can hit this button to try and organize them. I remember this second one does it by rarity, so that's the one to know about. But anyways, take for instance this Alice's armor I put on her. HP, hands down, most important, increase it. I think these are the defensive ratings, and I kind of forgot what these other ones are. But the three you're going to want to focus on anyway is these. So, you can use mana in order to increase them. It'll tell you your mana cost before you go into it. So say I could just sit up and push this up to level 50. And see, there you go. You get another 10% right there. Now, there's a limit you can do, but when you hit level 10, which is at... And again, you get full access to everything when you rank up to rank 71. But I can do this, get a nice substantial boost in both of these, and they'll become pretty tanky. I'm not going to do it right now, of course. But there's also these little things here where you can get special support stone effects. I don't have them right now, but this is boss defense, I do believe, and the other one was boss attack that I had on these weapons. Yeah, boss attack on this one. Those are the only ones you really need to worry about. But you can increase your equipment right there. Now, one last thing, and it's in one of these menus. Ah, yes. This one, if you may or may not need it. Actually, I think that took me to the, these tabs can also lead you to that same stuff as well. I think this might be it. Yeah, this is it. This can make elemental weapons and stuff, but they're all R-based, I do believe. And you can get blueprints for them later in a different section. I do believe it's this one that gives you the blueprints for them. You will need eventually items for this stuff, but you can use mana and everything to create these things. And that said, it will net you some very, very powerful stuff. So you can get some elemental stuff right out the gate for these. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. You need a lot of mana. But they give you fire, light, darkness, earth, thunder. They can give you some different effects for different weapons and whatnot to try and attack enemies with them or have defenses for them. My suggestion to you is probably get the orbs for them if you really want to. But that's the whole thing with that. That gives you a lot of different stuff to power up your characters and whatnot. And if I go here and then go to my formation, I can show off the team I got right now, because I all got them for very specific stuff. And then there's a few I'm just hanging on to, or I may or may not be using them. Now see, I got Alice right here because she was my HP one for this when I'm not using this tanky girl right here you get from the storyline. But Alice gets a lot of HP, as you can see. She got 15,000, almost 16,000. And when I had this formation leveled up, apparently they reset them because they added some more. That gave me a crap ton of HP on her. It more than doubled it. So she had well over 30,000 HP. So as long as enemies kept attacking her, because they tend to attack the front more than the back. Unless they're like ranged attackers. And she's one of the ranged attackers. The magic ones tend to be ranged as well. But that's the whole thing with her. This job I got right here happens to be one of the best jobs. She's one of the strongest damage dealers considering her buffs and all that, which really, really spiked the critical rate. And she's like a little archer arrow type job, but all the jobs for her all the jobs leading up to her seem to be like this little symbol right here, which is a hybrid one. I got her from the gacha, this one right here. She got freezing resistance and can also do it to enemies too, so it tends to come in handy. But she's one of the lowest HP characters in the game, so you gotta be careful with her. This one I managed to get from the gacha too during one of the events, so you may or may not be able to pull her. But when I started ranking her up, she's stupid good. Because first off, she's one of the fastest characters in a freaking game. But what gives her a nice little more advantage is the simple fact that when you get her to a certain point, and this works for any character that can hit level 45 and above, they get special support abilities and whatnot, and it changes their appearance. This one, she hits 3 enemies at once, and then considering that her speed is so stupidly fast that she gets typically 2 to 3 attacks off before the fight even really begins, she takes enemies out pretty well. This is the one you get from the tower. She can hit 2 enemies at once and she's magic based, so she's pretty good. Again, this is the best healer I've noticed so far, but there might be other ones and she's only SR. She heals everybody and then can force an earth element on everybody too, so she'll give you earth defense or earth attack, so that helps. But she heals everybody and then removes a status element when she heals you, so yeah. Excuse me. But this one right here, she focuses all attacks on her, and then on top of that raises the defense of other characters. Toss her in the front line, get this formation I got right here to the highest level you can. She'll last for a long time, especially if a healer. Then there's a job that's also a healer as well. And then, if I click on the character itself, it shows a whole bunch of different stats for her too. And then, if you can read Japanese, you can tell the different type of rarities for weapons that they give you. Like, she got B rank, A rank, S rank, and double S. She's got double S stuff equipped right here, but I'm trying to level up this bow. But her special support ability increases critical and all that type of stuff too. Now, I can change this. And as you can see, I got a whole bunch of different jobs I had access to. Basic strategy for this is that you need specific characters in order to learn more. You start off with this one right here, who happens to be a physical attacker. But the ones you should aim for is to try and get these girls so you can eventually get her. And then there's an SSR healer right here as well. When you start getting more job points, you can also aim for this tank character right here. She's pretty good. This one's pretty good for burst damage, I've learned. And then, this is where you learn the jobs, but I don't have enough job points to get any more of them. Next one I'm probably going to try to aim for is her, and then eventually her. Because I don't really need the physical attackers. Alice covers that well enough. But, as you can see, there's 2 requirements along with the job points. Like, you need 2 specific characters to get leveled up, and then you also need the job points as well. Typically, the one that you definitely need the most for is the one that's in the same route as them. But I can eventually get them all if I really try and grind out events and whatnot. But that's the whole thing with that formation. That's where you change your characters and whatnot. Just be careful when you try to switch them out, because I'll, for instance, go into Like, I tend to have that tank character in there as backup just in case I need somebody to redirect stuff. But say I wanted to switch this one out. My lovely little ice princess here. Now, say I wanted to switch her out. For instance, I didn't want her in, so I wanted this one in. Who they start you off with. Now, when you hit this button, you have to be careful with this page right here. One of these buttons changes their equipment. I hit the one on the first thing, so you do not change their base equipment. Because when you do, it's going to sip and give them random crap. That first one does change their base equipment. Keep that in mind. But the second one does not. Like, if I put her back in, she should still remain with the same stuff. If I hit this one, I do believe. I'll find out for sure. Just take it the other way around. Yeah, she still got her same stuff. That second one keeps the stuff you have. The first one gives suggested equipment. You probably want to just go equipping them on your own. But if you play around with the menus enough, you will start learning a lot of different things. They definitely made this way more detailed. They gave this game a nice little overhaul, so this is probably a good time for me to even do this guide anyways. But you can also change the characters on the main screen with this button. I like having Alice up front. The first one's usually your job. Now, this is the last thing I went into. This is this book icon here. Now, there's a lot of different stuff they can give you for these daily missions and whatnot. Here's weekly missions right here. And then here's overall missions, which you eventually do get by doing stuff. Just hit that red accept button, you'll accept everything. And then, oh look, I can do it again. And oh look, I can do it again. See, you can get a lot of stuff without even trying. And I notice my mana is going way up. Apparently I've spent a lot of mana and whatnot, or earned it. I guess that's from them refunding it. I don't know. I think I got additional mana from them refunding it. But that's what that seems to be. This little thing right here seems to be diamonds, and I forgot what that is. But anyways, this tends to give you a lot of free stuff too. Pay attention to that. And in specific certain times of day, you might get bonus missions too. If you go into here, which is a storyline page, and then go into this blimp icon right here. Specific times of day, some extra stuff will open up too, which usually gives you some enhancements to materials for weapons, armor, and such. Now, here's the thing. You have an inventory limit, and I think it's 100. But, as you can see, I'm going to sell off some characters too, because I got a lot of R and N characters I just don't give a crap about. You can auto sell with this button right here. You have an inventory limit. It goes by these normal characters. Normal characters. And not normal as in rarity, as in normal as in usable characters and usable armors and whatnot. Your enhancement materials do not add to this inventory limit, so you do not need to sell them. But since you get the N girls fairly quickly and the R girls somewhat quickly, I suggest leveling them up so you can get diamonds for their scenes and whatnot. But see, we're already starting to see what I was talking about. These little fairies, they're color-coded for the different types. They're enhancement materials for your characters. You're going to need them at one point. When it comes to the equipment, these little things right here. And they come in different rarities. These little mouse things. Some for armor, some for weapons. They'll boost them up too. Believe me, you're going to want a lot of them. Don't even sell them off. They don't add to the inventory limit. This is why I never really need to expand inventory space. And last but not least, if you are playing the ReBless X version, here's a little harem scene thing right here. You're going to go there and accept more diamonds as you start leveling up characters, but I can't click on it because of YouTube. Now, last thing is the settings. You can also see your login bonuses and whatnot. I don't really mess with the settings too much except for the sounds. I turned the master volume completely off because for the sake of this video so you can hear me talk. I specifically do not know what these do. I specifically do not know what these do. So I'm not even touching it. But in the case of these, you can change your sound settings right here. That's the last thing I really need to point out. But like I said, should you decide to pick this game up, once you start learning how to navigate the menus, it's easy. And then you just need to really build up your characters and your weapons, your armor. That's it. But again, arena thing right here. Arena, you do face off against other players' teams, so I wouldn't try it until you start leveling them up. But remember, arena points right here, your exploration points right here. You definitely want to start ranking up. Events will do it very quickly. And then there's these little mana things and whatnot. And then I can hit this real quick too. I don't know if it's going to send me into a cutscene though. If it does, I'll skip it. But yeah, as you can see, you can get some event stuff from here. Like, I can get diamonds. And then when I unlock a certain floor, I think I can trade for stuff. Then they also give you missions for the event as well. Like, look at this. I get diamonds for clearing floors. But you're not getting very far without a very strong team, so don't even think about it. You can get job points from here too. But that's the whole thing with this guide. It's like, check out the events more or less if you want, because that's like an event tower, which is easier than the normal one at first, but then it gets harder. And then the raid event's going to be over here. Like, the tower events is always here, but any other events is here. That's the things you need to know about. And then this is the one thing I mentioned too, and this resets daily. This is the very last thing I'm going to point out. If you have strong enough teams, it suggests level 30 in order to actually do it. But if you have strong enough teams, you can start doing this extra stuff. Like you see, I got 6 hours. It's a little under 7. And if I click here, it shows me what I can earn, which is this little icon right here. I don't know what this is. And then there's tickets, gotcha tickets. Now the one with this little icon, this little orange little icon above it, means you can get SR and above. So you might get an SSR thing. That's the only reason why you might do this. You might want to do it for enhancement materials too. But that's it. You can get some strong stuff, but the enemies are tough. And what makes it even worse is the fact that, unlike the storyline, you don't get recoveries between each one. So if you use any abilities, if you use any if any characters needed healing or whatnot, they're going to come back in with the same HP they had remaining. They're going to come back in with their skills on the same amount of cooldown time and whatnot. Because that's the thing about each character. They all have cooldowns and whatnot. But that's all I really have to say about this. This guide's been going on long enough. And I might break it down a little bit more if this gets into English translation. But that's probably not going to happen for a long time coming. But anyways, that's just to try and get people started on this. Again, this video is kind of long and it's a little bit complicated because it's all in Japanese, but that's all I really got. Last thing I have to point out, when you get stuff from different prizes or logins or certain things, they're going to be in this little box right here, so that'll help you accept those and get those in there. But this has been going on long enough. I might do slightly more guides if you guys request it, but they're going to take longer because, again, this is all in Japanese. Believe me when I say this, I will be playing this game in English if it ever happens to get it, especially for Alice. I'd love to see her scenes uncensored. I don't care if I said that out loud. But anyways, I mean, hell, she's showing cleavage off of her freaking level 45 version. But anyway, that's all I got for this, guys. Take care, and expect more ReBless at some point, but not too often, because I don't really play this as often as I used to. But, again, that's all I really got for this.